Imagine an actor who completely annihilates his own identity, stepping into the skin of a historical figure or a fictional soul so deeply that his crew members forget he is acting, and he forgets how to be himself. He is a man who has won the highest honor in global cinema 3 times, only to casually walk away from the industry to learn how to craft shoes by hand in a quiet village. His journey from a rebellious, troubled youth in London to the undisputed greatest actor of his generation is a masterclass in obsessive dedication, proving that true artistic immortality requires the complete surrender of the ego. To understand his legacy is to understand the absolute pinnacle of the acting profession, a realm ruled by a phantom who refuses to be captured. The genesis of this unparalleled artistic phenomenon began in the spring of 1957 in the bustling, historic heart of London. He entered a world already steeped in literary and theatrical royalty, born into a family where intellectual and creative excellence was the baseline expectation. His father was the poet laureate of the United Kingdom, a towering figure in the literary world, and his mother was a celebrated stage actress with a rich theatrical lineage. Despite this privileged, intellectually rich environment, his childhood was deeply turbulent and marked by a profound sense of displacement. His parents separated when he was just a young boy, an event that fractured his sense of stability and ignited a rebellious, almost feral streak within him. He struggled immensely in traditional academic settings, feeling entirely alienated by the rigid structures of the British education system. His teenage years were defined by a series of expulsions and run-ins with the law, culminating in a highly publicized incident where he was caught using a stolen credit card to purchase a television set, which he subsequently destroyed in a fit of youthful rage. Seeking an outlet for his chaotic, unfocused energy, he was drawn to the theatre, initially as a place to hide rather than a place to perform. He joined a youth theatre group, and the stage quickly became his sanctuary, providing the strict discipline and emotional release his life desperately needed. The rigorous demands of acting gave his restless mind a singular focus. He eventually earned a spot at the prestigious Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, where he began to hone his foundational skills. Under the watchful eyes of veteran stage directors, he learned the mechanics of voice projection, the physical discipline of movement, and the deep psychological excavation required to build a character from the ground up. He spent years working in repertory theatre, playing everything from classical Shakespearean roles to gritty contemporary characters, slowly forging the ironclad work ethic and the profound respect for the craft that would define his entire career. His transition from the stage to the screen in the early 1980s was marked by an astonishing, almost unsettling versatility that immediately set him apart from his peers. He did not rely on a fixed, charismatic persona or a recognizable physical look to carry his performances. Instead, he treated every single role as a completely new psychological architecture, demanding to understand the inner workings of his characters before he even learned their lines. His breakthrough in cinema came with a daring, highly sensitive portrayal of a gay Pakistani man navigating the complex, often hostile social landscape of London. The performance was a revelation, showcasing a profound empathy, a complete lack of vanity, and an uncanny ability to capture the subtle, unspoken nuances of human interaction. He followed this with a memorable role in a lavish period romance, proving he could seamlessly inhabit the rigid, polite society of the 19th century with equal conviction. However, it was his next project that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of his career and introduce the global audience to his terrifyingly immersive approach to character building. The role of Christy Brown, an Irish writer and painter with severe cerebral palsy, demanded a level of physical and psychological commitment that bordered on the obsessive. He refused to break character for the entire duration of the shoot, blurring the lines between the actor and the subject in a way that deeply unsettled those around him. He remained in a wheelchair at all times, requiring his crew members to carry him from place to place and feed him his meals. He spent months learning to write and paint exclusively with his left foot, pushing his body to its absolute physical limits, and enduring immense frustration and physical pain to capture the authentic struggle of the man he was portraying. This extreme dedication resulted in a performance of such raw, devastating authenticity that it left audiences and critics entirely speechless. The role earned him his first Academy Award, instantly establishing him as a formidable, uncompromising talent. Yet, rather than capitalizing on this newfound fame and rushing into a string of lucrative commercial projects, he retreated, taking a hiatus to recharge his creative batteries and avoid the toxic trappings of Hollywood celebrity. When he returned to the screen in the early 1990s, he delivered a series of monumental performances that cemented his legendary status and redefined the boundaries of cinematic acting. He transformed himself into a rugged, frontier survivor in a sweeping historical epic, spending months living in the wilderness, learning to hunt, trap, and skin animals to capture the visceral, physical reality of his character. He followed this with a deeply emotional, physically grueling portrayal of a man wrongfully imprisoned in a high-stakes political drama. He subjected himself to extreme sleep deprivation and a severe diet to capture the physical deterioration of his character, and he remained in his Belfast accent even when interacting with his family off-camera, refusing to let the modern world intrude on his psychological reality. His commitment to historical and physical accuracy reached its zenith during the production of a massive, violent epic set in 19th-century New York. He learned the trade of a blacksmith, studied the specific dialects and criminal underworlds of the era, and famously contracted pneumonia on set because he refused to wear a modern winter coat, insisting his character would not have had one. This relentless pursuit of truth earned him a second Academy Award and solidified his reputation as the most dedicated, uncompromising actor of his time. The turn of the 21st century brought what is widely considered the absolute masterpiece of his career, a performance that transcended acting and entered the realm of pure cinematic mythology. He portrayed a ruthless, oil-driven prospector in a sprawling, biblical epic about greed, faith, and the birth of American capitalism. His preparation was exhaustive and legendary. He immersed himself in the history of the oil industry, studied the photographs of early 20th century pioneers, and developed a chilling, hypnotic vocal cadence that became instantly iconic. On set, he remained entirely in character, demanding to be addressed by his character's name and maintaining a terrifying, intimidating aura that deeply unsettled his co-stars and crew. The resulting performance was a tour de force of cinematic acting, a perfect synthesis of physical transformation, psychological depth, and sheer, unadulterated screen presence. It earned him a third Academy Award, a feat that places him in an incredibly exclusive pantheon of acting royalty. Despite the massive critical acclaim and the global adoration, he once again stepped away from the industry, retreating to a quiet life in Ireland to escape the suffocating glare of the spotlight. His subsequent returns to acting were rare, highly anticipated events that were always met with universal acclaim and a sense of profound reverence from the film community. He took on the role of the 16th President of the United States in a meticulously researched historical drama, a project that required him to capture a figure so deeply embedded in the cultural consciousness. He spent years studying the voice, the posture, and the profound psychological burdens of the iconic leader, developing a high, reedy voice that initially shocked audiences, but ultimately captured the historical reality of the man. This deeply nuanced, incredibly humanizing performance earned him a fourth Academy Award, further cementing his unparalleled record. His final, widely celebrated role was in a haunting, meticulously crafted drama about a renowned, obsessive dressmaker in 1950s London. He learned the intricate, painstaking art of haute couture tailoring, spending months in ateliers to understand the physical toll and the psychological obsession required to create perfection. The performance was a masterclass in subtle, repressed emotion, showcasing an actor at the absolute peak of his technical and expressive powers, finding profound depth in the quiet, meticulous details of a craftsman's life. Following this final performance, he made the definitive announcement that he was retiring from acting entirely. True to his nature, he did not do so with a grand, tearful press conference or a dramatic farewell tour, but with a simple, brief statement that left the industry in a state of shock and mourning. He retreated to his home in Ireland, returning to a passion he had cultivated during his previous breaks from the screen: shoemaking. He set up a workshop in a small village, learning the ancient, meticulous craft of crafting bespoke leather shoes by hand. This decision perfectly encapsulates his philosophy toward life and art. He views acting not as a permanent identity or a lifelong career, but as a temporary, all-consuming occupation that requires the total expenditure of his spiritual and emotional reserves. When the creative well runs dry, he simply walks away, seeking solace in the tactile, grounded reality of physical craftsmanship, where the results are immediate, tangible, and entirely his own. His personal life has remained fiercely guarded and entirely devoid of Hollywood glamour, a deliberate choice that has protected his sanity and his artistic integrity. He is married to a respected playwright and director, and together they have built a quiet, deeply private life far removed from the red carpets, the award shows, and the relentless media scrutiny. He is known to be a devoted father, and a man who finds his greatest joy in the simple, unpretentious rhythms of rural life. He has consistently rejected the superficial trappings of celebrity, viewing fame as a distracting nuisance that interferes with the pure, unadulterated work of creating art. This profound humility and his absolute refusal to play the game of modern stardom have only elevated his mystique, making him a revered, almost mythical figure in an industry obsessed with visibility and self-promotion. The legacy of this extraordinary artist is permanently etched into the very foundation of modern cinema. He is the last true titan of the classical acting tradition, a man who elevated the craft to the level of high art through his uncompromising standards and his absolute refusal to compromise. He never relied on his own personality to carry a film. Instead, he annihilated his own ego to make space for the souls of the characters he portrayed. His filmography is remarkably small, yet every single entry is a masterwork, a testament to his belief that quality and depth must always triumph over quantity and commercial exploitation. From the turbulent streets of his London youth to the quiet, sawdust-filled shoemaking workshop in rural Ireland, his journey is a profound testament to the power of artistic integrity. He did not just play characters, he resurrected them, breathing life into the forgotten, the broken, and the ruthless with a terrifying, beautiful authenticity. He remains the undisputed phantom of the silver screen, a master who proved that the most powerful presence in cinema is often the one that completely disappears.